Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, and the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino, and stars quite a big cast. You got Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Kurt Russell, Timothy Olyphant,
and the late Luke Perry.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately passed away.
And in this tale, we deal with pretty much in 1969, at the end of an era where former TV show actor Rick Dalton, played by Leo DiCaprio, is trying to find success from going from TV to being in the movies and stuff. And he's having struggles in Hollywood, and he's trying to get himself together.
He's basically lived out his prime, and you can see his his acting career going down.
Yeah. And it also deals with him and his stunt double, Cliff Booth, who's portrayed by Brad Pitt, who's works with him on various films as a stunt double. And he
also is struggling to get to do stunt work for Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's taking a lot more kind of laid back roles.
Yeah.
So it's like he's losing out on work. So it's like two characters that are good friends who are both struggling in Hollywood.
Yeah. Kind of like in real life, where me and him are pretty much on that level where we're trying to find our career with YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyway, the movie also, it parallels with that with Sharon Tate, who's portrayed by Margot Robbie, who, if you remember in real life, she was an actress who was married to Roman Polanski, the famous director of Rosemary's Baby, and among others. Yeah. And she ends up, in this story, she ends up being next door neighbors to Leo DiCaprio's character. And if you know the story in real life, it pretty much goes with, in real life, it had to do with also the stuff involving Charles Manson and his clan.
And his angels, or whatever he calls them,
his children.
Which are basically, you can't spoil, everybody knows the history. He murdered Sharon Tate. I don't know the purpose of Charles Manson. I don't even think it was ever discovered why he did what he did.
I don't know.
Why he wanted to do what he did. But I know that Charles Manson also had a lot of connections with actual movie stars.
Yeah.
Right before he went nuts and shit.
Yeah.
He was he kind of worked his way up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to dig more deeper into the real story. So.
But, yeah, and so basically this film takes a kind of a similar angle like Pulp Fiction does, where it's dealing with multiple plot lines like in one movie. Yeah. Which is pretty much like the biggest thing that Tarantino has done since Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's what he's known for. Every one of his movies is like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm talking about in that like interlinked like plot stories, basically, like how you have characters that share similar themes and stuff, like how they're all connected somehow.
Yeah.
And so, going into this movie, I was already hyped as it was because I'm a big fucking Tarantino fan, and I've loved pretty much all of his movies except for Death Proof,
which I still find okay. It was not bad, but it was probably his least Tarantino look film I've ever saw. Like, if you were to look at anything he's been involved in, I'm like, man, this doesn't even look Tarantino at all.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad, but it just was, his least. But like he said, I'm a big Tarantino fan, and to me, I think he's one of the greatest directors right now in Hollywood.
And one of the
a lot of people will say, well, Nolan, or Steven Spielberg, or so-and-so, and so-and-so, David Fincher. I love all those directors too, but I think he's so original because, for one, you could relate to the guy because he was a guy working in a video store, like, just a regular minimum-wage job.
Kind of like Randall from Clerks.
Just a guy who's like, addicted to want to be a, director one day, do movies, and he did, and look where he's at now. And I just feel like the guy can't do no wrong. Like, every one of his films, it just amazes me that, and you know what? It's good that you could wait 3, 4, 5 years for another until Tarantino can come out with something, because that dude seriously puts a lot of time in what he's making.
Well, yeah, and he's also, I consider, one of the best writers in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because I always consider him always a better writer than a director, but even still, like, even movies that he hasn't directed, like, that he just wrote for, like True Romance and all them, he still has, like, so much talent that I'm always open to whatever he does in that category.
Yeah.
And then separately, eventually we're going to be doing a retro of Quentin Tarantino, talking about all his films that he's pretty much been involved that we've seen. So we'll be doing that here coming in the future.
Days,
but anyway, going into this, I was already hyped to begin with, because not only did I love the idea of them going back to the old Hollywood era in the late 60s, but I liked that it was more than just, because I knew going in it was just going to be about the whole Manson plot or whatever with Sharon Tate.
If you know Quentin Tarantino, it's never straightforward.
Yeah, because Inglourious Bastards, I mean, it was still set in an alternate. It was basically set in a history where you had like Hitler and all that set in the same time period, where you have different characters that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So,
and if you guys watch that, you know, the way Hitler was taken out in that movie didn't happen in real life. He committed suicide.
Yeah,
it was totally. But he takes all. But he's been like, if you guys have known a few films, like I think maybe just one actually, Glorious Bastards. It seems like Quentin Tarantino is got this new thing, which in a way kind of original, because no director really takes that kind of risky approach about taking real life events and alternate universe in them by having fun. And that I actually kind of, you know, it's risky. It is risky.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it is, because you can, one fuck up, you can piss a lot of people, you know, off if it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like directors that take risks.
Yeah, and so with this film, I already from the trailers and everything, I was so hyped for it.
Yeah, I was too.
And upon seeing the film, it brings me back to why I love Quentin Tarantino's films a lot.
Yeah.
This is one of those films that I can say, I don't really know where it'd rank as far, but this is probably one of his best movies he's done in probably a long time, probably since Django Unchained.
Yeah,
because I loved Hateful Eight, but I thought that this was above it in so many other levels, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there were certain things I liked it a lot more than Hateful Eight, and then there's things that maybe Hateful Eight might have done a little bit better in. But
this is also one of his most like love letters. This is like basically his love letter to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because in this film, to get our pros out.
Well, it digs deep about Hollywood. It actually, like, that's what I was looking forward to more.
Yeah,
was like it's basically a biopic of Hollywood.
And it's basically his reflections, like his memoirs of how he feels about Hollywood in general. And this movie really shows that. To get my pros out of the way, the performances, especially from DiCaprio and Brad Pitt
were
fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god.
Scene
their chemistry is fucking outstanding.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, and they were fucking hilarious. This movie, oh my god, this movie was funny.
It was.
Yeah.
And it was also great that, you know, it showed the struggles that these two actors that are in this film go through. Yeah. Because you have Rick, who is still trying to make it in Hollywood. He's not quite as successful like he was back in the day when he was doing TV. Yeah. But he's still trying to get himself to become still a working actor. And he gets offered like other roles to do like Italian westerns and stuff. And because this was actually true back in the day, there were big known actors that actually transitioned into spaghetti westerns and stuff that were like low budget Italian films back then. And so I like that this film touched base on those aspects with it, but also I love the whole like making of aspects they do with the going into Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah,
on TV shows and stuff.
It being called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked how his focus was really on Hollywoodish type style, like the life of actors, the life of how they made movies back in the day, and it was like I was paying a price to see several different movies, because you get actually on set of them. It's like them filming a director filming a movie. It was I'll tell you right now, that takes talented writing.
It does,
and the acting really takes a lot of talent on that, because not only are they playing in that movie, but they gotta play a role of that movie. That movie.
It's kind of like Tropic Thunder, basically.
Yeah.
Or that other movie you saw, that Hail Caesar movie.
But yeah, going back to some of Quentin Tarantino's films, I liked how it's very grindhouse looking.
Yeah.
So it fits the era.
Well, and that's the other thing too. This movie was actually shot on 35mm film. So and there's actually scenes that you can see that he actually was able to use old camera footage to make it resemble those old times.
Yeah, because while there are some real movies that are in this film that really were real movies, like Steve McQueen's
The Great Escape.
Yeah, and then it would dub over like Leonardo DiCaprio, because he was going over a discussion of how he almost had this movie
over Steve McQueen. And that's the other thing too, just a minor thing. They got a guy in this, Damian Lewis, who plays Steve McQueen, and dude looks fucking identical.
I know.
They get him for a biopic, I would be fucking shitting my pants.
You know what? I will say that, and I'll get to my con on this one, but as a pro, real quick, I thought the guy looked like Charles Manson that played him. Holy fucking hell, get that motherfucker.
And the dude that played Bruce Lee in the movie,
too. Like, Bruce Lee, they did a fucking terrible biopic I heard a couple years ago, which I haven't seen.
Rise of the Dragon, Birth of the Dragon.
But they got this guy walking around.
I know, but he also has the acting ability too, because the way he delivered his lines and stuff.
I thought I was watching Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I was like, and the way
holy shit!
And they have this fight scene with him and Brad Pitt where they're on the set of the Green Hornet, and because the little backstory with that, it has to do with Brad Pitt trying to get himself into one of a rows of a stuntman for this, but something happens because
him and Bruce Lee
get into it, and they actually have a pretty fucking good choreographed fight scene where you actually get to see Bruce Lee get his ass thrown away.
When that happened, I was like, all right, this is definitely going to be like Inglourious Bastards, where they're taking an alternate route, because there ain't no one kicking around fucking Bruce Lee. Yeah.
So I can buy that though, because that's a character that Cliff would actually be like with, because there's also a scene later where he beats the shit out of this one dude that's at this ranch that they go to, that if you remember in real life, it was the famous ranch that Charles Manson had bought from the real guy George Spawn or whatever. And trivia enough for that was supposed to be Burt Reynolds' final film. That was the guy that Burt Reynolds was going to play before he passed away.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
But unfortunately, he passed away before his scenes could be completed. So Bruce Dern was brought in to...
Which I could see why. But anyway, like, there's a lot of actors in this film that really are in it for a split second. So,
but then
weird.
But the other things I got to appreciate this the most is I love the look of the Hollywood.
The costume design.
Absolutely. It resembles the 70s or late 60s, and you can really feel that vibe with the music, the time period, the production values. Everything is top notch.
And I actually love the part when they start getting towards Charlie's Girls. Oh my god, it kind of goes in kind of a creepy horror type element, which
it's the closest
is very uneasy. And I'll tell you right now, I thought that was like one of the highlights.
It was, and Tarantino's closest horror film he ever did was Death Proof, but if he ever got a chance to do like a slasher film or something where it's like a pure horror movie, this was taking kind of shots with that, and I actually thought it kind of
especially with the music,
where they're just standing there.
And it I thought the film was about to do a complete 180 on us, and it was going to be, because at first I didn't catch on to the alter. I should have, but I started thinking this was going in the real life story. Until I found out. Like I said, I don't know the real story.
Well, we don't want to spoil anything in the actual movie, but let's just say that they take a certain different type of route, if that makes sense. We'll leave it there because we won't want to spoil the ending. But we'll just say that the movie takes a certain route that it kind of throws you off guard, basically.
It threw me off guard.
But anyway, like this movie is just like, it has so much tribute to Hollywood and everything that it also marks the end of an era where you see the times changing, where at that time you were seeing a lot more of the bigger Hollywood productions getting more used to actors and stuff.
A couple of things I do want to say. Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate, even though she ain't really the focus, she fits.
She was great.
Yeah, great. But Leo DiCaprio, I cheered on him, and I was glad he won his first Oscar with The Revenant. But why does this motherfucker not have a whole goddamn trophy case full of Oscars? I will never know.
Because
this motherfucker can't do no wrong. I don't even think this guy makes bad movies.
No,
makes him a bad movie.
The only movie I've heard that's really not that
Critters
good.
3.
Well,
he was
Great
young
Gatsby,
on that.
I heard wasn't that good, but I hear that he alone was one of the highlights.
See, that's what I'm saying. He's the highlight no matter what.
So
he can literally fucking take a fucking C movie and make it an A movie. This motherfucker's got one Oscar. Godly.
And this movie shows that he really, if him and Brad Pitt get nominated, I would be fucking surprised.
I want to see a movie with him and Brad Pitt playing something like The Nice Guys.
Do something
like that, where it's kind of fun. It's taking just a fun, its own story. Like, if you didn't have the Charles Manson thing in this one, and maybe another director just as talented was able to write these two together, I would have loved to see these two on a journey.
Absolutely,
but
but again, for what it is, I still love the movie approached that because because every moment that this goes by, I was never fucking bored at all. I know. I actually wanted the movie to go longer. I actually did.
Whenever the movie was over, I was like, damn, 2:45 already went by?
Yeah, it's 5 fucking fast. But if I just have like any kind of minor thing that I thought the movie could have worked on was that the ending, okay, keep in mind, I know people have been divided about the ending, but I myself, I liked the way it resolved itself because I'm not going to go into spoilers, but basically it works in a metaphorical level, if that makes sense.
It does, but the ending is very just blah, it's over.
Well, yeah.
It comes out of nowhere, and that is one of my problems. Another problem I would probably say is and Tarantino's films are really known for this, but they're not always that, but really it doesn't bother me. There are times that the film is very jumpy and editing issue.
There are some, especially because there were shots in the trailer, I believe, too, that I think that they cut out for the film. Like the scene in the trailer where it shows like Sharon in like that weird Austin Powers like weird music video she's in or whatever, where she's dancing around.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know. So that scene didn't make it in the film. I don't know why. But
they probably cut some things out, but the film overall is it can be jumpy at times.
It can have some editing parts that feel a little
like Pulp Fiction's editing, like blend it very good. And I think this one fell below that on the editing.
Yeah,
because like he said, it's like trying to be like Pulp Fiction, where it's trying to blend all these stories, but with that one working with the editing, this one's editing's a little jump.
It's also more akin to like The Big Lebowski in a way, where it's basically like a movie that it's more of a hangout type movie where characters are mainly doing a lot of dialogue throughout, and there's not really a whole lot of like action, I guess is the word for it, until pretty much like the third act.
If you guys follow a lot of Quentin Tarantino, he likes to touch base on something where he can have a high body count or just a lot of ass kicking and you know, just roasting each other. This one is not that. This is it's
probably his most like laid back type movie, probably since Jackie Brown, because Jackie Brown was like that too, where it's mainly it's more straightforward and it's, you know, just taking its time with its characters, which is good, because I still like the way it went in. So with that, even though there were some minor things...
Anything else you can think of?
Other than probably, like, they could have...
Like, I would have loved to see more... Oh, yeah, because I did mention why I said I like Charles Manson. I was kind of a little under... Kind of like, I wish they would have... He's in it for, like, literally a 1 minute. 1 minute. 60 seconds, and that's all we get.
Because it's really...
I would have loved him to have maybe, like, a couple minute talk with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Just give him some more screen time. I was a little disappointed. Yeah. Because the Charlie's Girls are really heavily used in this film.
Yeah, because I think what they were going for was that you see more... You feel more of his presence surrounding them.
I get that, but they show us a split second of him.
Yeah.
I would have loved that when Brad Pitt walked out, maybe him and Charlie had like a 2-minute conversation or something. It would have been, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
Cool,
I mean, it would have been great to see more.
Because the guy they chose for it was fucking phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And apparently this dude also had played him in this TV show called Mindhunters, so he's playing it here too.
Oh, that's crazy, man. It's weird that I'm seeing like so much negativity for this film, because I've not heard a lot of good things. I mean, at first I heard it was probably going to be the best film of the year, but then when everybody started seeing it, I was kind of worried at first because it started getting heavily mixed.
Yeah, but overall, I personally love the fuck out of it, and you know, this is definitely going to be in my top 10 for the year, best movies of the year for me.
Yeah, definitely for me.
And with that being said, I'm going to give the film a phenomenal grade on the Film Phreeks meter.
I'm with him. Phenomenal grade in Film Phreeks meter.
Fair enough. For those of you who have also seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and also Tarantino's other films, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some other reviews here and our website at filmphreeks.com. We'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.